It was an education gold rush, private companies signing up a record number of students using taxpayers' money. But sometimes there was no training at all.
They'd give us the answers, they'd tell us pretty much what to write into the answer.
As early as 2012, whistleblowers were warning the sector was in crisis.
These unscrupulous training organisations who have the only focus is money, they need to go. They need to be shut down and they need to go.
But the bad behaviour continued. Salesmen went door to door into Australia's poorest communities.
They said that I didn't have to pay anything until I was earning over $53,000 a year, and if I didn't earn that much, well then I wouldn't have to repay it.
Often sealing the deal with a free laptop or iPad.
They say, oh, they just take the iPad, just sign up, just take it, it's all good, it doesn't cost anything, it's free.
Federal government crackdowns and legal action failed to stop the bad behaviour as unscrupulous providers found new ways to keep the money flowing.
Hello, it's Peter calling from Careers Australia. How are you today?
The latest tactic, large call centres targeting people who entered online competitions or signed up with employment websites.
I felt abused. I felt I'd been assaulted.
Some providers have made hundreds of millions of dollars, but it's left many students with a debt and no qualification and hit the budget bottom line hard. Last year it cost the taxpayer a whopping $3 billion.
It was an extraordinary situation where a provider could sign a student up. They never actually even start the course. The provider gets $20,000. The student is probably unlikely to earn the amount that would involve paying it back. So the government, the taxpayer, ends up bearing the cost.
Today, the Turnbull government finally said enough. The Education Minister is scrapping the whole system, though he's not taking the blame.
Vet fee help will go down in history as one of the great policy failures of the Rudd-Gillard years, alongside the pink bats or school hall programs.
The new system will start next year and requires all private providers to reapply for taxpayer funding. For the first time, they'll be assessed on completion rates, employment outcomes and their track record.
We've seen people who have come in purely for the purpose, it seems, of taking the taxpayer and vulnerable Australians for a ride, and I want to make sure they are booted out and gone forever.
Under the changes, courses will only be funded if they fill skills shortages, and providers can no longer charge what they like. Student loans will be capped.
Loan caps we're proposing are set across three bands, $5,000, $10,000 and $15,000, to reflect the different cost of delivery for different programs. Clearly, a diploma in business or management costs a lot less to deliver than a diploma in agriculture or engineering.
Bill Shorten claims the government has backflipped on capping fees, a policy Labor took to the last election.
Scott Morrison said it was an attack on private education. Scott Ryan attacked the policies for being class-based, and Simon Birmingham said it would be an administrative nightmare. Now the Liberals have realised that billions of dollars of taxpayer wasted later, a lot of unhappy students who've been ripped and rorted, that now they need to start tackling one of the greatest rorts in the federal budget.
The peak body for the providers has welcomed the new scheme. It says there are up to 20 rogue companies that need to be brought into line.
They have not supported students, they have not managed academic progression, they've charged prices far higher than the quality and the outcomes that the students might be expected to deserve. We don't want any exploitation in this sector, so we do want higher barriers to entry.
Now put that tan back, coming with the socks.
But the industry does have concerns that the caps on course fees could harm students.
These prices are a significantly large reduction to what they currently do. They've got three choices: remove themselves from the market so we lose quality providers, have significant upfront student fees, or guess what, they'll have to cut their cloth to meet the mediocre providers' quality standards, and that is not the student-centric outcomes we're after.
Skipping around a bit, yeah.
The Federal Education Department will police the new scheme, but there are doubts about whether it's up to the job after failing to stop rorting in the past.
The department was at the centre of those question marks. And so we're really looking at the same umpire being asked to go again round despite all of the troubles in the scheme. And I think that's a problem. I think the department is going to struggle to cope with the size and the scope of the commercial realities of investigating commercial and private companies.
I am concerned because I have to say the companies, some of them have proved to be very creative, very resilient, very focused on extracting profit, which in the case of for-profit providers, exactly what their mission is.
Vocational education expert Dr. Mary Lay says nothing will change until the focus is firmly on the quality of the education being provided.
That unless you address this quality problem, you will end up with a situation where providers will just push students through the tick and flick approach. They get the qualification, but in terms of what they've learned, it may not be worth a great deal.
All of those types of measures should give people confidence that the new program will be about as bulletproof as you could hope any program to be.